Good afternoon, young warriors. Happy Independence Day. Be grateful for the blessings that we've got living in this country. Young warriors, my objective, it doesn't change. My objective is more of a challenge for you to embrace the traits, the virtuous traits that have stood the test of time in your pursuit to success, or what I call personal excellence. Because it's my belief, it's been proven over and over and over, that we attract the success, we attract the things we seek out based on the person we become. These traits, they consist of humility and honesty, the traits that secure our character, resilience, self-discipline. Young warriors, last time we spoke, I mentioned that I was going to come back at you and I was going to talk to you about failure. And I'm going to. But I'm going to maybe approach this the way that you didn't anticipate. I'm going to talk about failure and success. They're the same thing. They're absolutely the same thing. So what I'm going to talk about is adversity. Because in your pursuit, it's how you address the adversity that will dictate the outcome. It'll either be success or it'll be failure. And failure, I'm just going to term is quitting. That's failure. Let me explain. And I'm going to use a couple of gentlemen from history. One you're probably very familiar with, and maybe the other maybe not quite so. The first one is Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison is the man who was recognized as the inventor of the light bulb. There's a great story behind that, and I don't understand it all. I don't know the truth. But for the sake of my sharing today, we're going to refer to Thomas as the cartoon character back in the 1900s, Popeye the Sailor. Popeye the Sailor was kind of a little small guy, and every week he would have to defend the honor of his girlfriend, Olive Oyl. Great big guy, Bluto. Bluto would just be absolutely just destroying Popeye. Next thing you know, Popeye would open up a can of spinach with his pipe, guzzle it, and all of a sudden he had the strength and he defeated his dragon, Bluto. He succeeded. See, that's kind of how I view Edison. Thomas Edison wasn't one of these guys that came and had all this backing. He didn't have all of this stuff. He had a passion, but he also had the backbone not to quit. Because when people say that he failed 10,000 times, I don't buy that. No, he didn't. I don't believe that one bit. I believe that he learned, because he wasn't trying to secure something that was going to be easy. This was a world-changing opportunity. And of course he was going to be met by dragons and adversity. And each time he faced one, he dealt with it. And he forged ahead. And he succeeded. His adversity, he met it like Popeye. He ate it like spinach, and he won every week. The second person, Samuel Langley. Samuel Langley, he was a gentleman that was involved in aviation. Samuel Langley, I don't know the whole story. All I know was Samuel Langley was the guy who he had the educational credentials. And he had the financing from the government, and he had all this backing, and he had a team, and he had all of these advantages. I'm going to refer to him as Superman. And Langley was competing to be the first man to take a man up in flight, and he had all these things to his advantage. And the day that it was broadcasted, he was going to be filmed and recognized as the first man to launch man into the air. He failed. I'm not here to talk about the man's character. But I think it's fair to assess that he faced those dragons. He faced that adversity. He didn't expect it. And when that plane crashed, that became his kryptonite. And it destroyed him. in that venture. Because not long after that, Orville and Wilbur Wright absolutely launched that first flight at Kitty Hawk. So you got two cases. You've got the one case where you've got the gentleman who has everything in his favor. He's got everything on his side of the ledger. He had the backing. But as you can see, that wasn't too important because we look at somebody who absolutely succeeded. And I'm talking Thomas Edison. And he did, not necessarily because he had the backing, it was because he had the backbone. Young warriors, I can't stress this enough. You want to talk about success or failure? See, I'm the guy, and you want to argue with this? I mean, my wife has to live with this. But the thing is, failure is when you quit. That's failure as far as my concern, my perspective, my philosophy. You face these dragons of adversity, and you're going to have setbacks. But if you have the persistence, if you have the character, if you have the self-discipline, if you have the backbone to persevere, that same adversity that's trying to keep you out, well, that ushers you in. And that's what I refer to as far as you become, or you attract by the person you become. I've said this before. Success literally is a commodity. And what it does is it builds walls around it and it's protected by walls of adversity, and it's even got dragons storming the grounds. But as I said, it's your persistence. You're failing to want to quit. Look, you'll figure it out. I've told you before, you can Google knowledge, but you can't Google guts. Break out your sword, and you slay these dragons. And those same dragons, like I say, they will escort you wherever you want to go. Here's my challenge. My challenge is very simple. That's really my main thing. I want to share one point. I don't have to get into it real deep. I just want to get you thinking. It scares me to think what would happen if you guys think. But I want to challenge you to take this for a test drive. Learn to say no to yourself. I mean, we live in a culture where we're accustomed to saying yes to everything except saying no. Say no to yourself. Duck out. Get away from the white noise. Go dark. Make a plan. Set an objective. Not a goal necessarily. See, sometimes we say, I've got this as my goal. Maybe this ought to be your objective. And set goals on things that you can control to accomplish your objective. And with that being said, I want to take away all excuses, because I don't think it matters your educational backing or your financing. It doesn't matter. If you have a purpose, if you have an objective, and you have a big enough why, and you have the guts to see this thing through, I think it's a done deal. It just depends on how long you're gonna stick at it. And I've heard the excuses, and I've got to say this. I've spoken to enough young warriors, and I've heard them say, Mark, but see, I'm different. You don't get it. You don't understand. And I hear them out. And then I come back with the traditional, you're right. I don't get it. I don't understand. Young warriors, you've got the potential to change this world. Today's quote, I've said it, I've used it before. I'm going to read it because I don't want to miss a word. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's by the 30th President of these United States. And it's simply this: nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent won't. There's nothing more common than unsuccessful people with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan Press On has solved and always will solve the problems of this human race. Young warriors, the time is ticking. Your time is now. There's never a time to start. Start now. Start where you're at. Find what it is that you want to accomplish and go out and slay these stinking dragons and change this world. I'm proud of you. I'm out.